welcome. My name is Ivan Kiergan, and today I want to dive into why I'm going into venture investing. Now, asking the question why is dangerous because for any answer, you can just ask why and try to go deeper. But once you have the answer, it can impact different strategy and tactics that you take on. So let's dive in. If you look up at the sky at night, you'll see thousands of stars. But incredibly, we haven't found any evidence of life on any of them. This is often called the Fermi paradox. There are 100 billion stars in our galaxy, and our galaxy has been around for billions of years. So if you just take conservative guesses for how many of those stars have Earth-like planets, how many formed life, how many had evolution towards intelligent life, and then how many might take on to go to the stars, where is everybody? We can't find any evidence of them. Now, there's plenty of room at the top. One way to measure the progress of a civilization is by how much energy it uses, which is called the Kardashev scale. So a type 1 civilization would use all the energy on a planet. A type 2 would use all the energy of a star, and a type 3 would use all of the energy of an entire galaxy. Humanity could power itself with a 20 terawatt solar farm about the size of Spain, making it, on the Kardashev scale, a 0.73 civilization. A type 2 civilization could build a Dyson sphere to capture all the energy around a star, which would be 20 trillion times more energy than what we use here on Earth. And such megastructures would be visible from light years away. Not only is there a chance to build such an unimaginable future, a real call to adventure, but we need to contend with the possibility that humanity is the only conscious life in the galaxy that will be able to do it. Long term, the only way to survive is to leave Earth and explore the stars. The basis of morality is the suffering and flourishing of conscious creatures. If our solar system was just a bunch of rocks crashing together, who would care about how they went about it? The most meaningful parts of our universe are pockets of intelligence fighting against entropy. It matters that we survive and flourish. Back down on Earth, there are 700 million people living in extreme poverty. But we know we can solve this problem. If you just look at the history of population growth over time and how many people are living in extreme poverty, we know we can make everyone rich. And there are endless frontiers of progress. From education to agriculture, construction, transportation, logistics, energy, finance, security, how we do more with less drives this progress. Much of the history of growth is extractive, without concern for people or habitats. But in the future, we'll come together as a global community and restore this jewel of a planet. Progress comes from many sources, including globalization, fundamental research, and innovation. Many developing countries can match the infrastructure and institutions that we enjoy here in the West to grow. More people have left extreme poverty since the year 2000 than remain. Research labs across the world push our fundamental understanding of how things work. This work is often done quietly, without much concern for when there might be a practical application. Established companies can innovate with globalization and applications of this research. Only the paranoid survive because oftentimes companies get calcified into the existing old ways of doing things. New ventures help us thrive by creating and changing large markets. Because incumbents have so many advantages, new companies need to innovate in order to compete. Venture investing is the fuel for these rocket ships. By finding and supporting the best companies, investors are in a unique position to accelerate progress. The reward, if you do it well, is to do it more at much higher scale. I'm moving into venture investing to help accelerate progress by helping early teams taking on ambitious technical challenges. I founded 2 startups and have worked at some of the most incredible companies like iRobot, Facebook, Dropbox, and Lyft. And all those efforts were similar in that it was one product taking on one market. Investing is different. Investing is like a portfolio of efforts all at once instead of a singular focus. Like I said, understanding why I'm going into investing can help answer some really practical, tactical questions. So for example, times are really frothy. So if you look at an early stage company, what was a Series seed is being priced at a level that would have been a Series A just a few years ago. Should you hold off on investing, wait, maybe only look for the cheaper companies, or should you invest as normal and accept the higher prices? If your goal is large absolute returns, then it's okay to back home runs that start out a little bubbly. Now, if your goal is to have large multiples, then being a little bit more efficient in constructing a portfolio of cheaper companies might be the better way to go. In my case, I want to help make a dent in the world, which means investing in enormous markets. So for example, the global non-residential construction labor market alone is $6 trillion. I invested in Cruise and worked at Lyft Level 5 in self-driving. And US transportation alone is a $2 trillion market. When you invest in these areas and hit a home run, the returns could easily be $10 billion plus, so the valuation at the seed round does not matter. What about fund stage and size? I'm drawn to companies that are just getting started because I love working with founders on product and strategy. As a new investor, if I raise a small fund, then I'll be able to write smaller checks to earlier teams at the seed stage and earlier to help them get off the ground. But not every company is like that. So take hardware, for example. Hardware companies often require more money and take longer to get off the ground. So how does a small fund work with that kind of dynamic? I'll have to figure that out. These are just a few tactics that are impacted by understanding your why. And that's also why I'm making this video, because I think thinking in public helps you refine your understanding of the world, and you can help. So if you have suggestions, ideas, questions, please ask them in the comments. And if you want to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. Thanks.